Hello and welcome to the final episode of Scope for 2024. I'm Tracy Pa. Early last month, the Mosby Northeast MP, John Cowper, presented a vehicle to the 6 Mile Dark Street community to assist with community policing efforts. It is part of the community's initiative to combat crime and keep law and order. The 6 Mile Dark Street is a community that literally grew out of one of the city's main garbage dumps.
6 Mile Dark Street was built on an old city rubbish dump site. The title of being a notorious section of the Mosby Northeast electorate solidified as the community grew in size. It was inhabited with criminals of all kinds. For decades, it was left neglected. Recently, members of the community have been taking steps to liberate the community from lawlessness, beginning with a volunteer community policing initiative.
Remember, come now, amigo. Me display leader once I'm all brothers below me. Me platin lo this la kind something may come up. Now me bla invite him all come. Me bla some making big plus something lo here. Which we work lo tin him. Now a policeman blow me national police. Me say I got plenty number blow. Now me can look him bossman to come stand up stuff. Thank you lo you come. Lo display afternoon. Number you work one time me too so. Plenty money come go. But me look also, me know it was unsuccessful for me. One time a leader blow me, lo yellow ahead. Remember yet sit down, I go down, lo tumble. Lo river church. No one something. Boys still continue. They continue. Or like Bagara me blow, or like killing me blow. But I never give up. Me woman is not me, I never give up. Or trouble, Burgim tries blow me, shed blow me, I still stand. I believe my God one time will bring this kind person, a humble member. Now, I'm like a man by come up. I still believe it. Me believe in this life.
Member for Mosby Northeast and longtime resident of 6 Mile, John Cowper, heard about the plight of the Dark Street community and stepped in with funding and a vehicle to support their work.
At the time, he came to 6 Mile roundabout. This up also where. Porat nongo through na kam. Today presentation Bladisla community police car me today lo yellow one lo Dark Street here makana na narabla igo long Japanese manuti igolo trikona kautera igolo paraya.
He said law and order must be maintained at the community level, and so committees must get the support they need. MP Cowper also handed out T-shirts to the community's Law and Order Committee.
This Law and Order Committee work. Peace mediation team led by Ben Taulna Raymond, Chairman Blohela. Those are voluntary work. Not got one block payroll block government. Stop underneath law justice. Stop underneath law police department. Or stop law elected member. Or stop law regional member. Or stop law NTDC. Nogat. Those are community oriented. Now got voluntary services only provide him. So that one em up community only stop, they want peace and harmony.
The community received 3 vehicles earmarked for the target communities in the electorate. Committee leader Raymond Cowper received the keys from the member. Cowper said he will organize community policing training for community leaders and volunteers to elevate the knowledge and skills of containing lawlessness and engaging with the community in a peaceful manner.
Na bayu kisim law and order na school blow long. Director blow community police. Lo how lo you run him, how lo talk lo man, how lo look at the community blow blah. Director blow community policing by me block organizing time na by Oligam school lo blah. Long how lo running community one time. This last support we are going to give you blah. Thank you.
After the break, Wagambi testifies to Black Wednesday had meeting the public protest was harder to contain because it involved members of the PNG Defence Force. Former commander for NCD and Central, Anthony Wagambi Jr., testified to the January 10th riot, which led to his suspension. He gave his side of the story at a session of the Commission of Inquiry. Wagambi shared how he responded to the devastating events of a day now known as Black Wednesday. Amidst his testimony, he admitted that the public protest was harder to contain because it involved members of the PNG Defence Force. And while he had done his part to restore normalcy, he said the situation could not be immediately contained. On Wednesday, the 10th of January 2024, from about 9 to 9:30 a.m., former NCD and Central Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Wagambi Jr. said he was informed through a WhatsApp message that police personnel were gathering at the Unagi Oval in Port Moresby to protest. The protest was about a pay cut. Wagambi gave evidence to the panel of commissioners at the Commission of Inquiry into the RPNGC January 10th civil unrest, Monday, November 4th, 2024. Wagambi said he responded with a crisis meeting with heads of his command and delivered a plan on how to best address the issue. After the meeting, they met with members of the security forces at the Unagi Oval.
We arrived. And then the police association president, they're hurling verbal abuse at him because they're claiming that he has not addressed their issues, welfare issues. They're bringing on previous other dissatisfaction of the issues, and then this one as well. So they were focusing their anger on the president, claiming that he has not done his job.
Wagambi said if the protest had been held at a police station, it would have been easier to manage. With the protest taking place in an open public area, a large number of people got involved by just being part of the protesting crowd. Public servants and curious members of the public came to see and hear what was going on.
There may have been some communication with the messaging applications, things we have today.
Yeah.
Maybe the PNGDF also faced a pay cut as well. I'm not sure. They can confirm that. They must have also faced a pay cut. And so when word got out that the police would be gathering at Unagi, they also turned up.
He said the looting occurred while the protest was on foot, occurring simultaneously from breaking and entering, looting, assault incidents, and arson. He said at Garahu, people walked into shops and grabbed anything they could. In the process, shops like Bismillah Wholesale, Garahu Mart, Papindo, and the Total Energy Fuel Station were set alight. Nearby at Rainbow Stop and Shop supermarket was looted and burnt. The same occurred at its sister shop at Badili. According to Wagambi, he was unable to communicate with members of the force as the main radio was jammed. However, he managed to get help from officers on the ground. Sadly, they were outnumbered.
Major supermarkets in all corners of the city. It was not only looted, but it was set on fire. It was set on fire, so even if we responded, we did respond, but we already spread thin. That could not take control of the place.
COI Commissioner Elines Batari said the protest was illegal. Upon considering Wagambi's testimony, Commissioner Batari suggested the unrest was planned. Wagambi agreed to Commissioner Batari's response. He said when the situation was brought under control, He was issued a 21-day suspension. He also made recommendation at the inquiry for the police hierarchy to conduct a thorough investigation into the possibility that the protest was planned and who was behind it.
Where looting and rioting would start. So that is why I called upon the executive when I was suspended to effect an investigation immediately.
Wagambi said issues surrounding welfare, rundown living conditions, lack of accommodation and medical insurance cover were part of the pay cut protest. These were the reasons why members of the force behave aggressively.
Protests that we saw at Unagi, from what I've collected from our members there, is a culmination of many other factors. And it was a kettle boiling, waiting for the lid to go off. It was bound to happen, and it happened on January 10th.
Commissioner Battery said in the face of law, the protest by police officers is illegal. In his response, Wagambi explained that the aggrieved members should have written a letter to the office of the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent for approval before they went ahead with the protest. This wasn't so.
Public gathering, we must receive notice. In NCD, the Metsup is the one who considers either to give approval or not for a public gathering of sort or protest. This was done so quickly and fast, but it should not have happened.
When we come back, Wagambi suggests police hierarchy decentralize powers to provincial and regional commanders to make recommendations for promotion and effectively utilize CCTV to reduce crime rate. Discipline in the force is still an issue that leads to merging lawlessness in the country. Former ACP, NCD and Central Attorney Wagambi Jr. said this when he testified at the Commission of Inquiry into the devastating events of January 10th. He went on to make a few recommendations to the top management of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary that may reduce ill discipline and lawlessness in the nation's capital and around the country. The recommendations are decentralization of powers to the provincial and regional commanders and the effective implementation of CCTVs. Wagambi said decentralization of powers is important in ensuring that the right people are promoted to the rank based on qualifications, experience, and performance. Wagambi said currently promotions are made by the police top management and they pick people at their discretion. He said such actions meant people occupy positions and roles they are not qualified for.
Decentralize back to the provincial police commanders to do their lists with the provincial panel, then bring it to the divisional commanders for a divisional promotional panel, and then the divisional commander from that recommendation to the provincial panel, say up to the rank of chief inspector, to senior inspector. Chief inspector upwards is for the national body, because those are senior ranks. But from first constable to senior inspector is the divisional commander, divisional panel's call, and they will promote those individuals. Then we will find that there will be better frontline supervision, because we are promoting the right people.
Current police commanders know how a police officer works in their jurisdiction and are in a better position to make recommendations. Wagambi believes there is growing nepotism in the force, and as a result, wrong people are promoted to positions they are not qualified to hold.
The person sitting in headquarters and promoting on the board will not know the policemen and women working out in, say with due respect, in Kendrian or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
The provincial police commander for Western Region will know that person.
He went on to explain that when a police officer is promoted, Usually he or she undergoes training to better understand their responsibility before taking up the position. However, this is no longer enforced. Wagambi recommends that such training must be reviewed to ensure police officers understand their role when they take up a new position. Secondly, Wagambi is concerned that with the amount of CCTV installed, they are not being monitored, and this contributes to crime still at a high.
The duty personnel is just supposed to sit there and monitor those screens.
Yes.
And you can, while sitting there for 8 hours or 4 hours or so, you can tell who is loitering around there and up to no good. And then get on the police unit to go there and check that person and ask, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then that will become a deterrent.
In response, COI Commissioner Linus Batari asked if proper training on how to use the CCTV facilities is one reason why police officers are not monitoring the cameras. Wagambi responded saying training is not the issue, rather the responsibility of station commanders and the supervisors to ensure that their men are monitoring the cameras.
The CCTV cameras are there, and it is up to the immediate commanders and supervisors to ensure that there are people there to make this program work.
Yeah.
Wagambi said the NCD and Central Command has strategic plans in place to curb the emerging lawlessness in the city. One plan is about smart policing with the inclusion of CCTV, proactive policing, community policing, engaging with the community, and work in partnership with security firms to safeguard the city. It is therefore the responsibility of the top management, especially the commanders and supervisors, to ensure the police officers are implementing those plans. And that ends the final episode of Scope for 2024. On behalf of the TVWAN News and Production team, we thank you for tuning into Scope every Sunday evening this season. We wish you a safe and joyous festive season. I'm Tracy Pa. Good night.